I'd like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth. Coach Jeff Williams here, along with Bray Cook. The Mouth's out on a assignment this week again. I think he's out looking for the offensive line thing you guys have been passing along.
He's looking for the night.
They're looking for the night. I believe the Mouth's out looking for the night and everything. Well, Bray, let's get into it. And I talked to the Mouth on the phone a little bit. What was your takeaway? We got first week in Western Carolina with the Hogs. When kind of what everybody expected. Mm-hmm. What was your takeaway from it?
Biggest takeaway from me was, KJ. He looks the part again. People were concerned about weight, and I think it's awesome. Dude's a tank back there. I mean, kids are bouncing off of him in the backfield. It looks great. I'm really excited for him.
Well, one thing you keep hearing is so kind of worried about our offensive line a little bit. We didn't, hand it off and make 50 yards every play. I mean, and that's kind of the expectations a lot of times going into those games. And I think something Coach Pittman said in his press conference was, we could have scored a lot early. Mm-hmm. And, they stacked the box. They put everybody in there. And Arkansas probably could have threw it over the top of their head 5 times in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. Didn't do it, trying to get work in. And I thought it was a great job of getting that work, getting that game shape in. Hey, we know they're stacking in. We're going to chip away and get her 2 or 3. You miss a tackle, we'll break one. We'll convert on third down. Didn't show a lot, but just got back to fundamentals. And we had a couple, had a guy out playing for the offensive line also. But I thought, overall, I thought KJ looked good there bouncing off of it. Receivers caught the ball well. Obviously, and I thought it was consistent plays. Running backs looked good, pretty much injury-free. Looks like Rocket's got a little bit sore knee, might not play this week. I thought defensive line-wise, which we've been talking about in preseason, was just dominant. And they've got a lot of depth there. Secondary looked good. Linebackers looked good. And I wish the Mouth was here. The special teams looked good.
Yes.
And so I thought everything went as well as, what you expected this week going into the Kent State. Mm-hmm. Kind of a same situation. They get throttled by Central Florida Saturday, and then now we're back at home and in Fayetteville, the home opener in Fayetteville. Mm-hmm. Do you think the plan's going to be pretty similar to what it was last week?
Yeah, you'd imagine so. I mean, there's a bigger picture, right? Obviously, with last week's game, this week's game, you're doing things offensively, to set up for down the road. And to find out truly what you're good at, and which players are meshing well together, and that bigger picture I think is very important. I think it's important to play a clean game. I think to me that's all this week's about, and continue to grow on that game one. Hey, went in there, took care of business, like you said. We knew we could have scored early. We knew we could have scored a lot. It was about executing. Again, sometimes maybe at a disadvantage with numbers, and still being able to execute.
Yeah, and I think we're going to get the same thing this week. Mm-hmm. Boy, the landscape of college football, Bray, before we move on to high school a little bit, is crazy. I mean, what's your takeaway from first week, the Colorado situation? Whoever thought Duke would outrun Clemson? I thought I'd never see the day of that. It had probably a more athletic team than Clemson. And then our boy Mike Norvell down there at Florida State. Wow.
Yep.
So what was your takeaway with, it's funny looking at week one, and you look 9 weeks back on how things change, but just what's your takeaway in college football week one?
Well, it's exciting to see Coach Norvell and the success he's having. Very, very good coach. They've got talent down there. It's obviously an incredible program, but kind of where it's been in the past lately and where it's headed is very exciting.
No doubt, hit the portal big, and there's defensive linemen look like SEC guys and the receivers, and just watching his team from last year, even 2 years ago, what a great job getting in the portal and recruiting they've done. And I don't see anybody touch them in the ACC, but you never know. But we got a lot of ball to play, so
they look good. And who else look good? Well, they always look good. Typically, Oklahoma versus an Arkansas State team that you would think would be able to hold their own a little bit more than they did.
Yeah, and Arkansas State went a little bit better, but he didn't kind of go the Colorado style. Venables did. He kind of kept them and where they're at, and he needs a good year too. And looks like they're off to a great start. Well, let's move on. Let's go on to high school. Going into week one this past week, I tell you what, and me and the mouth talked about this, is Lakeside. They've been our top 10 game of the week the last 2 weeks. They go into the Lake Hamilton and beat Lake Hamilton, but is an upset. Go on the road or go to Russellville last week and beat Russellville, and they got Malvern this week. I'm a believer. It's kind of Deion Sanders saying I'm becoming a believer. So let's bring Coach Rockwell on from Lakeside, one of our BSN guests of the week. Let's bring him on. Well, Coach Rockwell, hey, man, I tell you what, we've had your team the last, even 3 weeks now, top 10 games of the week. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't pick you the first 2 weeks, and you've almost made a believer out of me. And just talk to me. You've come in there your first year, taking over Coach McBride. You were the defense coordinator. You worked with him for a long time. You came in and, week 0, Lake Hamilton, and I'm sitting there and the score keeps popping up, and I don't know if it's right or wrong. And because I've seen Lake Hamilton over the years a bunch, and you guys go in, and that's just a huge win for you guys, in that Hot Springs area. And then you got Russellville last week and go in and just play well. And it looks like you got some really nice D-backs, some skilled guys. Talk to me. Just talk to us about your team. Or this your expectation? Did you see this now, or just talk to us a little bit? Talk to us.
No, the expectation is always, to go out and win. But, I was just, as shocked as anybody, just happy to get out on the field and improve to see how good we really were. During the summer, I could kind of see that we were going to have a good team, but I never wanted to say it. And I would kind of go around to my coaching staff and I'd be like, man, do you think we got a good team? And they were like, I don't know. I think we do. And I was like, well, we'll see the first 2 weeks because we had really 2 good opponents. Of course, Lake Hamilton is the rivalry. And then I've worked with Coach Willer before when he was at Tech. I was his GA, and I know what type of ball club he's going to put together every year in and year out. So I knew these first 2 weeks would be a strong test. And then Malvern, of course, I've been a coordinator for a while. Every time we play Malvern, it's always a good game, and they always got a good team that way. So.
Well, and that thing goes back and forth, and they're coming off being 4A state champions. They got a lot of people back. Matter of fact, the backs are BSN Player of the Week. He broke Madre Hill's touchdown record, and if you're getting mentioned in the same sentence as Madre Hill, you're probably a pretty good player. And, and y'all, you've got to go over there, but man, you got a lot of momentum. You got to feel good about it. Talk to us about that matchup and how you feel about going into it.
Yeah, we feel good. They are the defending 4A state champions, but the one thing I always tell the kids about this Malvern game, they always give us a good showing. If they had more depth, they'll be just as good or as better as a Camden, and that's who we open up with every year. They got athletes at the skill positions. They always got big linemen, and they always got a good quarterback that can run. So they always get us ready for our 5A South matchup with Camden when we play them. So, as far as the running back, the Dupree kid, he is really good. I saw him this summer at a little combine deal, and he put on probably about 15 pounds of muscle. So, he walked up to me and shook my hand, and I was like, oh, my gosh, we got to play this kid. But, he's good. Now they lost their quarterback. I think he signed with Arkansas Tech. He was really, really good for them. I watched a lot of these kids grow up, being defensive coordinator and scouting them all these years. And Coach Plumlee does a great job developing those guys. So it's going to be a tough matchup. The only good thing for us is we got them at home. So we got home field advantage. But it's going to be a tough matchup for all 4 quarters. So.
Well, I tell you what, and I'll get you off here with this is, man, your conference, boy, you start checking scores, Magnolia's rolling down there. You guys are rolling. But of course, Parkview. I mean, Texarkana, Coach Outlaw's doing some things down there.
Hot Springs is rolling.
Yeah, Hot Springs. Darrell had a big victory over Arkadelphia the other night. And then
And you talked about, Nick, they lost a 1-point game to El Dorado. That's a big rival game. Man, top to bottom, that league, it's stacked. I think, they ain't no doubt toughest league in 5A. And boy, just tell me, just after 2 weeks, what you look at your league. And I mean, you don't have a crystal ball, but you know how it goes. You're looking, and it's one game at. I mean, if you're opening up with Fairview, you ain't worried about nobody else but Fairview when you get to the part of it. But boy, your conference is stacked. Talk to us a little bit about your conference.
Yeah, and of course, you feel confident about winning the first two. Then, you got Malvern, which is tough. And you're like, oh, man, if we can win that and go into the bye week. But then you start looking at your conference schedule and you're like, gosh, dog, man, we got a tough schedule. So,
yeah.
Because, we open it up with Camden and then we got to go down to Magnolia, which is always tough down there. So, and then Texarkana, we got to go down there. We got to go back-to-back road games, Magnolia, Texarkana. So it's just tough. But that's why you're in the business, So and that's why you play the game. And I try to tell the kids not to look at the schedule and look down the road, but look at the work that we got to do every week and every day. And that's what I try to focus on, the work. And if they can focus on the work and work hard, then everything else will take care of itself.
Well, Coach, we've been checking your work, and you and your bunch been doing a good job. Hey, appreciate you coming on. We'll have you on again. I bet when y'all load up against Hot Springs, we'll probably have you and Daryl both on during that week. And you got a lot of big games coming up. And hey,
we do.
You ball, you get the call from the coaches in the mouth. And hey, we appreciate you coming on. Good luck to you the rest of the year.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
See you, Coach.
Boy. What a great interview. Boy, he's got that program in his first year going in the right direction. I tell you, there's another big game, Bray, right up the road with this past weekend with Conway going on the road to Bentonville. Buck James' first game with the Wampus Cats. Actually got to watch a lot of that game on live stream, back and forth. Coach Grant and them got a powerful offense. So does Conway. Conway's very athletic and looked really good, and I know Coach Buck James is excited about getting his first win, and let's see what he has to say, and let's bring on Coach Buck James.
Coach, you go to Bentonville last week, huge game. Everybody's predicting Bentonville to win the West up here is going to be a major contender in the state. They already had a game in their belt against Broken Arrow. You guys come in just back and forth, physical game, both sides. What did you see? How do you feel about coming out of that with that going on the road at Bentonville, which is always tough to win? Talk to us about the win, but talk to me also about your progression of your football team.
Well, it was a great win. That is a really good football program. From 7 through 12, they're well financed. They're very well coached. They got everything they need. And it's a big contest. I told our kids and the press, everybody listening, it was a game for free. It wasn't for playoff implication. It wasn't for a conference championship. It wasn't for a state championship. It was just to measure where two good football teams are. And, we're glad that we came out with the win, but it could have been either way. It came down to a play or two, and those guys never quit. They kept playing hard. I'm proud of our guys. They got hit in the mouth. They tasted a little blood. They didn't run. They went back after them. And, that's something that we haven't done a whole lot of at Conway. And, but we've had a lot of success. Coach Fimple had great success against Bentonville here. And, it was a good win for our football program. It was a good start to the year, but there's a lot of football to be played. There's, they're going to get better. Hopefully we get better, and, probably a couple teams that can meet each other later on in the year as well.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Bentonville's going to be right there in the mix, obviously. Man, I really thought, your quarterback played well. You threw it around well, made some major explosive plays. Mark does a great job. But I really zoomed into your offense and defensive lines. That's where I wanted to really kind of see, I talked to Coach Fimple before you got there. He felt like, really the, centers and guards are really good and physical and things like that. Man, I really thought your offense and defensive lines, I'm not saying they play perfect, but there's a physical presence there. And you ran the ball well, got after the passer pretty well, lost contained a few times, but that guy's a great player. Talk to us what you saw with both of those groups?
Well, we only really returned one starter on offense and one starter on defensive line, and so it's a young group. But Coach Fimple's right; they're talented. They've gotten stronger. We still got a long ways to get strong. Hopefully, by time we get to the playoffs, that we are a different looking football team. But these guys have been in the weight room 5 days a week since I've been here, and we're making some gains, but we're really not where we want to be, and definitely not where we need to be. And these guys understand that. They've worked extremely hard. The hardest thing in the world is be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's sort of what happened to those guys when they got out there. Is that the length of Bentonville, the strength of Bentonville really took a toll on our guys. And I think we disappeared a little bit because they were so big, strong, and physical that I think our guys were on the edge of saying, this might be too much. And then they came back and, we made a couple plays. It energized them. They got opportunity to have some success, and then they went for it. And, that's what I was proud to see. It really was just who had the ball last is who was going to win that game. That's the way it turned out. And, I have a lot of respect for their program. They're very well coached. They've really up-tempoed their offense. They've really sort of turboed it. It was a lot different looking offense than what we saw last year in the state championship game. I thought they were a much better offensive football team Friday night than what I saw last year. And as they keep growing and keep getting better, they're going to be really salty on offense. And, I think defensively that, it's just we made some plays. And I think that's what it came down to. I think both defenses were a little behind. I think they both got tired, both young defenses for the most part. And both teams will get better as the year goes along, no doubt.
Well, I tell you what, both sets of receivers, unbelievable. I mean, here's a set of receivers. There's a back and forth. Well, you're going this week. You got Springdale coming in. They're coming off a huge win over Farmington. Bryce Bray's coming there with that Harding triple option. Kenneth Chick's on defense over there. Basically, total different type of team. In a short week, especially with Labor Day and all that stuff going on, how did you have time to get prepared for that?
Well, it's almost impossible to get, none of my coaches have really ever coached against it. So, it's not like the players have ever seen it. None of the coaches have ever seen it either as a coach. Now, they played in those systems, but it's a big task. And, they've got, their left side, their offensive line looks like the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they've got some size. They've got some guys that can run. They block it about 7 different ways. They're a good football. They're a much improved football team from last year, and they have some speed. They can throw the ball a little bit, and they have tremendous size. And trying to get ready for that really. You have a Monday off of school and you try to practice in shorts and get everything done with that. And then you have a JV game on Tuesday, and then we get wet bulb today and we have to do everything inside. So, anything that can go wrong has gone wrong. And we've got to do a really good job of going out there and playing assignment football. That's all we can do is we've got to clog gaps. We've got to play. We've got to be there when they pull it. We got to be there when they pitch it. They got to be there when they give it. And then we've got to be able to defend the pass. And, it might take us a minute to get used to it. And like I said, we've never seen it before. Our kids have never seen it before. And, and our coaches have never seen it before. So this will be a big test for our football team to get ready for these guys and to be able to play at a high level.
Well, it's kind of interesting. You played against Mike Malham at Cabot, and you could practice that stuff. I mean, it's a different offense, obviously, than what Springdale's running with the triple option, but it takes you a series too just for the speed, and because your scouts can't show you that look during the week and that part. Well, Coach, we'll get you off here. I know you're just getting off the practice field. Congratulations on your win. We're going to keep up with you. We'll have you back on, and hey, man, keep up the good work.
Hey, guys, I appreciate y'all having me on. It means a lot.
See you, Buck.
All right, bud. Thanks.
Everybody, thanks, man.
Well, we're going to go to our BSN Player of the Week segment now with here in a second with Danny McEwen. Man, he's had a tough choice this weekend. Shiloh kid rushed for 400 yards. The Malvern kid had a big game. Kid at Maumelle, unbelievable game. A lot of great performances. But let's bring on Danny right now and see who our BSN Player of the Week is.
Danny, man, you had a tough choice this week. There's a lot of great candidates. We were getting hit on social media about some guys, and I'm glad I'm not the guy that makes that pick with your committee. But talk to us. Who's
you can be included?
I should be. Who is the BSN Player of the Week this week?
Well, you're right. It was a tough one, man. There was even some games on Thursday night where he had some big performances and some big numbers all across the state, but narrowed it down to a young man from Malvern High School. So you and I are the historians. So when we think about Malvern High School, think about guys like Gerald Skinner and Tony Ollison and Isaac Davis and Keith Traylor. And don't know if he played any football or not, but that's where Billy Bob Thornton went to high school. He's probably a kicker.
Yeah.
So Malvern has put out some dudes, and the term dude applies right here. So our BSN Sports Arkansas Player of the Week is Malvern running back Jalen Dupree. Jalen they had a big win over their crosstown rival there, the Glen Rose Beavers. Jalen had 25 carries for 257 yards. 3 touchdowns. They beat Glen Rose 44-13. But probably the biggest reason that we went with him is he broke a school record of what I would call a Arkansas football icon. He broke the school touchdown record for career of Madre Hill with his 68 touchdowns or 69 touchdowns. He was behind Madre too. He just went ahead and beat him one. And hey, we're in week 1, so who knows where this record's going to end when this kid's done at the end of the season.
Holy cow! I mean, you think about that, Danny. I mean, that guy still got 8 games to go, and he's already broke his record.
Hey, and playoffs count towards the school record too. So,
oh my,
yeah, he may run the score up on Madre.
I think so. Kind of do the Tom
Never
Brady.
thought I'd.
Kind of do the Tom Brady, push those rings and push the records where they're going to be hard to be broken. I would have never thought anybody that broke Madre Hill's record. Good, great.
No. And you think about all the running backs besides Madre, guys like Harold Harris and that they put out over the years. And, I got to see both those guys play in person when I was watching Coach Alpy work. And this cat is for real. We don't have any friends that coach at Colorado State, so I'm gonna go ahead and say this. He's verbally committed to Colorado State. He's way too damn good to play at Colorado State. Somebody else is going to get this guy before the season's over.
It's going to pick him off. Well, Danny,
yes.
You saw some great football last week. I know you were down at Whitehall at the Warren Whitehall game.
Yes.
Where are we looking at to go this Friday?
Well, there's a lot of really good games. But this Friday night, I got one circled when I put my schedule together right off the bat. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one game this Friday night, and that's when the Parkview Patriots go to Saline County to take on the Bryant Hornets.
Well,
I'm gonna stand underneath the goalpost and be neutral like Switzerland because I got too many friends on both sides of the field. Well, but I wouldn't miss it.
It's going to be an outstanding game. I believe the mouth picked the Parkview Patriots, and so did Grandma Na. Coach Williams, he all summer long I was going to take the Patriots all summer long. I've been scheduling this, and I've changed my mind at the last minute, and I went with Bryant because it kept saying nobody has beat those guys. Nobody has beat those guys, but I think you're going to see a heck of a football game. And I think if depth wise, you got to go Bryant, but on the other hand, if you put the top 11 on both sides out there at one time, man, there ain't much difference.
Yeah. Those guys have team camped against each other for many summers in a row. They're real familiar with each other, but I think you're right. When they roll out there and they're 11 on 11, it's good on good, and depth might be the deciding factor? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a heck of a high school football game.
Oh, but you know what? And you got to, because Buck was there in quad too, but Buck and Brad playing this game. They don't have to play each other, and I know Brad's doing it to get his teams ready for the playoffs. Bryant's also because Parkview, I'd say they might be the second, third best team in the state right now if you looked at a lot of rankings. So be interesting. Hey, have fun with that Friday night. We look forward to seeing you next week, and congratulations, man! That's unbelievable. He broke that record at Malvern. Madre.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
the runner-up for Player of the Week this week is my buddy Coach Bray Cook for being 2-0. Pea Ridge Blackhawks are flying high. Congratulations!
Yes, they are. And they're going into Huntsville this week and finishing up their non-conference regular season, getting ready for the conference. So everybody's on a high note, and some people on a low note, and some people are just in between. So that's what makes it fun. Everything. So
I like it.
Good to see you. Hey, we'll have you on next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach.
All right, buddy. Take care. Well, we're going to bring on the Triple Crown guy, Derek, here, and he had some great picks last week. Besides the LSU Florida State, which nobody thought the margin of that victory, and he's been pretty hot in some baseball and things. Let's bring him on here. Let's bring on the Triple Crown man himself, Derek Brazil. Let's bring him on and see what he's got for us this week.
Whoa.
Well, Mr. Triple Crown, Derek, last week you got some good picks for us this week. I've already talked to you. Last week we started off great. You hit the Hogs and everything was going good till the Florida State LSU game. Talk to me. Just go through that process and then how you refeed off that.
Yeah. So, so we're 2-2 last week on the 4 plays I gave you guys. It was a good lesson for me, right? And the lesson I thought about was it's not always good to bet the marquee games to make money, right? I mean, try to do it to have something to watch and stuff like that, which, that's part of it. But, LSU, man, after the first half they shut down, and hell, they couldn't score when they got inside the red zone. So, and after I had that Zoom with you guys last week and we were talking, I was reading more and more, and one thing that kept coming back was LSU's D-backs, right? And I think they completely got those 2 receivers, Coleman, and I can't even remember number 14's name, but they exposed them bad, right? And so, and then honestly, I think LSU just gave up in the second half. If anything, if you see a team give up, that was a team giving up. But OSU, I had -21 and they hit -20.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that game with them being number 3 in the nation, they didn't look like a number 3 team in the nation to me.
I listened to the Herd a little bit, and I was thinking the same thing. Well, they could not. I didn't like their offensive line. I didn't like any of their offense. They don't look like they can run the ball. They got all these skilled guys, couldn't get it to them, and
you can't get the ball to Marvin Harrison. How do you not do that?
And people can get doubled. And there's ways to get people the ball. I mean, but I'm not.
Right.
But that's why I'm sitting there talking to you, and I'm not making $5 million as Ohio State head coach either. But anyway,
and then we hit the Arkansas game. -20. That was easy, and then the Clemson Duke. I think I was pretty spot on there. I wasn't going to take that line. I think Duke surprised everybody, but the under definitely hit, which we're all over that. But rolling into this week, Jeff, we have I laid out 3 college games that I'm really confident in, and then parlaying those. And then since this is inaugural week of kickoff of NFL, I gave a 5-team parlay that I think is going to be hard not to hit. That's going to pay really good odds. So I'll roll into the college real quick. So my first pick of the day, and it kind of don't even look right on paper, to be honest. And those are the ones you really got to look at is Utah at Baylor, -7.5. I mean, hell, Baylor lost to Texas State or somebody like that last week, and their quarterback's out. Yeah, right. I mean, their quarterback's out. They don't. This is going to be. And I watched the Utah and Florida game, and Utah looked pretty damn good, and from a defensive perspective. And so, looking at that game, I really think Utah. the line is -7.5, and it's going up daily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove that down to 6.5 to get it in the touchdown, because Utah, they don't score a lot of points, and so I'm going to get it back down to where I think they're going to win comfortably by a touchdown. But that's what I'm going to do in that game. The next game I have up is Notre Dame at North Carolina State. And look, Notre Dame's already played 2 games. They crushed Navy, and then I think they played Tennessee State last week, and both games they gave up 3 points. North Carolina State, they beat UConn, I think, who they ended up beating. Which, I mean, I was looking at this. I think Notre Dame's defense is pretty good, and North Carolina State's offense, if they stop that quarterback from running, they're gonna really struggle. So I'm gonna take Notre Dame minus touchdown there, -7. And then the last game, I'm kind of jumping on the hype train here, right? And I actually had this game, I just didn't give it to you guys last week, is Colorado. So I think Deion with them coming back to Colorado, there's a lot of hype, a lot of stuff they've got to live up to. They've got Nebraska there. And I feel like Colorado's going to step it up and win this game. The line is -2.5. And I'll take -2.5 for Colorado after seeing the offense. Now, what scares me in that game is Colorado's defense is pretty bad. They gave up like 5. They talk about how many yards they got, but they gave up 540 yards, right? Total offense. So you parlay those 3 together, not with the points, but you parlay them with the money line, and you're going to get 2-to-1 odds. Put 100, you win 300. Put 10, you win 30. So I think that's the best bets on the day. There's a couple other games that are intriguing, like Central Florida, and then the Ole Miss Tulane game. And I just don't know what to expect out of Tulane. Ole Miss put up bukus of points this week. So those are 2 of the games I'll probably scatter in and play. Central Florida, they look pretty damn good against who we're playing this week, right? Mercer, which if that tells you anything, I think the Hogs will probably cover as well. We just got some running back problems. So that is the college slate. Those are the 3 games I really like, Jeff.
Well, over the week of the NFL too coming on, and which I just think is really difficult. What's your thought here with the first week of the NFL, which is always hard? You don't ever know.
It's always hard. And if you would have told me last year that I was going to be sitting at the first week of the NFL and these are the 5 games I'm going to mix and match in some parlays, if you told me I was going to be picking Washington as a team, I would have said you're crazy. But Washington, with the Kansas City coordinator going over there, and also that new quarterback Sam Howell, I think they look pretty good. And that new offense that they put in, I watched them in a couple preseason games, and they got Arizona at Washington. And so Arizona's pitiful, right? And so I will take Washington all day in that one, and you're actually getting some pretty good odds there. And I'm going to play these straight up money line. Okay. But the point spreads aren't that bad. They're like 2.5, 3 points. The next one is Houston at Ravens. I'm taking the Ravens all day. They got a new offense coordinator. They're healthy finally, I think. And I think Lamar in that offense too much for Houston. I'm going to take the Jags at the Colts. And, I think Jags are a team that I think Trevor Lawrence could be really, really good this year. He's got Calvin Ridley that everybody kind of forgets about because he got in trouble for gambling, $1,500 or something like that. But I think the Jags is an easy pick on Sunday. And then the Seahawks at home against the Rams. I'm going to take the Seahawks. Rams are struggling. Cooper Kupp's hurt. Who knows when he's going to be back. Seahawks actually last year, I was kind of laughing when they put Geno at quarterback, but they've got so many damn weapons with Lockett and Kendall Walker and Metcalf. I mean, they're gonna win that one pretty easily. And then the last game I had was Eagles at the Patriots. Eagles all day. Eagles defense is going to be too good. I know a lot of people, Belichick gets a lot of respect, and that line is actually not that bad. And so if you parlay those 5 games together, which there's no reason any of those teams should lose, it's 13-1, right? And so for a $10 bet, you win $140, or you clear 130. For a $100 bet, you're gonna make $1,300. So it's something I highly recommend. I think it's on week 1. looking at the games and looking at what we've got and who's healthy from an NFL perspective, I think it's a really fun play.
Well, before I get you off here, did you do a Super Bowl pick from the beginning? Put some money on who you think? Did you do any of that?
Yeah, so I did some future bets, and the one future bet that I really like to do is I really think from a Super Bowl perspective that the Eagles have a really good chance of getting there from the NFC side. Last year, if you ask me, I thought 49ers, if they didn't lose their quarterback, I mean, hell, Christian McCaffrey playing quarterback, I thought that they were going to be the team that was going to give Kansas City a run. But I think the Eagles this year, that's my pick. But I went through, and I'll tell you a really fun bet. And this is a bet you can do in Oakland anywhere. You can do it on any of these websites. It's good. Just go pick there's 8 conferences in NFL football. You can do this today. You go pick the winner of each conference. And I was doing it with my dad, and I told my brother, I said, hey, pick 8 teams. I'll pick 8 teams. You can pick 8 teams with a $10 bet. And if you pick all the favorites, it pays you $2,000. So you can imagine if you go through there and mix in some teams like, hey, say the Chiefs don't make it, the Chargers make it, right? Well, all of a sudden you're going to make $8,000. And so if you want some real cool lottery ticket, go pick the divisional winners in the football and run a couple different tickets, right? Run a couple different ones. I mean, you look at the NFC North, you got, is Detroit going to win? I don't know. Packers going to be back? I don't know. I mean, my pick was Detroit. But the Vikings, hell, they were pretty good last year. And so I think if you're going to play a future bet, don't worry so much about playing all the way to the Super Bowl. Try to hit one of those where you hit every conference winner because it pays a lot more.
Let me put you on the spot then. AFC East. Yeah. That's one I can see that going either way. I mean, I could see the Jets winning, and I can see them coming in last. I can see the Dolphins.
The Dolphins win it.
Yeah, I can see the Dolphins. The Bills. Are they got any better than last year? Who do you like in the AFC East?
I mean, I have a lot of tickets. I got probably 10 of these, right? And because they pay off really well if you hit them. But the Bills. I mean, I think the Bills. They've got at some point they're going to have to break through. I really was concerned that I thought that they missed a good opportunity of going to get a running back with Hunt and. You get Zeke, and then, I mean, hell, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I really thought they were going to go get a really good running back. And then there was all the talk about them getting D-Hop. But I think the Bills is who I'm picking. I think the Jets, that's going to be a good game of Monday Night Football, Jets and Bills. But I don't know what to think about Aaron Rodgers yet. I know he's got some really good receivers, and their defense is supposed to be really good. But, I mean, hell, look at Miami. Miami has Waddle and Hill. Why didn't they go? I mean, they're trying to get Jonathan Taylor. If they get Jonathan Taylor, that's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, and that division is crazy. All right, last question. I'll get you off here. Cowboys. Right. No, that's my team. It is. And then they break
the Giants this week.
Yeah, got the Giants. What do you see in that ball game? Because the Giants kind of scare me because I think they got a really good coach. Daniel, they've added some parts. I think they drafted well also. And everybody just forgot it. They were in the playoffs and they were kind of non-factor. Yep. Everybody's forgot about them. What do you see in the Cowboys-Giants game?
I mean, no doubt I would play the Cowboys. I don't got the line in front of me. But just straight up, I think money line, I would definitely take the Cowboys. Cowboys got a lot of offensive weapons. I mean, what I'm worried about on the Giants is, can you name one of their receivers?
No.
Besides their tight end? Exactly. Right. That's what I'm worried about. If you still look about the Cowboys offense, they've got Land, they've got Gallup. I mean, they got the Cooks guy now. I mean, Pollard is an incredible back out of the backfield. I mean, probably one of the most athletic defensive linebackers in the NFL is Michael Parsons. And so if Dak can't get it done with, this year, then there's going to be some problems for him, I think. I think they're already making moves on that. But with that, I would say Cowboys all the way. Even the cover. If it's a touchdown, the Cowboys are going to cover that.
Gotcha. Well, appreciate it. Hey, look forward to having you on next week, man. We'll get hot here. Right. and everything.
We're going to get hot. We're going to get hot.
Well, we'll do it. We'll do it. Hey, good to see you, Derek. Hey, bottom line, tell everybody how they can find you and find your picks.
Yeah, no problem. So Instagram or Facebook, look up Triple Crown. It's actually Triple Crown Thoroughbreds on there. If you want specific picks, then just message me. But after that, we're starting a new TikTok channel, and hopefully in the next few episodes, I'll be able to share that with you, and then that's where you're going to be able to actually purchase the picks. And then, of course, Oaklawn, during the horse racing season, I sell the pink tip sheet called Triple Crown Thoroughbreds. Best pick sheet at the track. Promise you that. You'll have a good time. At least have a lot of free beer money. So.
There you go. There you go. Well, appreciate you having you on. Hey, we'll see you next week.
All right. See you, man. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Well, let's go to our picks again. Man, I tell you what, I went 6-4. The Mouth went 6-4. The Grandma and I went 3-7. There were some tough games this week. We're going to start from the bottom to the top, and let's hit our picks. The first, you've got the Mouth. He's out on assignment, so you're going to be filling in here. He sent you his picks.
You'll fill in now.
He is looking for some revenge. He was not happy about a 6-4 record last week. We got Lake Hamilton, Little Rock Christian. This is a very interesting game. Lake Hamilton beat Little Rock Christian last year. Little Rock Christian's coming off a loss to Shiloh. Week 0, Lake Hamilton had a loss to Lakeside, so they're both coming in 1-1. Who's the Mouth have?
The Mouth has Little Rock Christian bouncing back for the win.
Well, I tell you what, I am going to go with Little Rock Christian myself. I just think they've got too much offense firepower, and I think Lake Hamilton's a young football team, but a good football team. Grandma Na is going with Lake Hamilton. Going down to 2A, this is a couple of teams we talked about a whole bunch. Carlisle at Cross County. We talked about the transfers that come in from Cross County. Carlisle is, defending state runners up. Grandma Na is going with Cross County. Who's the Mouth have?
Going Cross County.
Coach Williams is going with Cross County also. Going on the road here, going down South Arkansas, we got Crossett at Star City. Crossett's got one of their better players out for most of the games, should be back in by the fourth quarter. Traveling down to Star City. Grandma Na is taking Star City. I'm going to take Crossett. And who does the Mouth have?
He's going to Star City as well.
Going to Star City. I'm going to go with Crossett. It's hard for me to pick against Coach Fareem down there.
Sure.
Star City does a great job, but I just think Crossett's got a little bit some firepower. Well, let's move on. This is a weird game, and you'd never thought this game would ever even how these two got together. Two big programs. 5A program with Luke Vaughn down at Camden Fairview. They are traveling to Booneville. They might need to leave on Wednesday. And that's a long ways to go. Booneville dominated Ozark last week. Fairview's just coming off a 1 point loss to rival El Dorado last week. Who does the Mouth have in that game?
Mouth is going Fairview.
Grandma Na is going with the Bearcats in Booneville, and I'm going to go with Fairview. Just think they got a little bit more firepower. Mm-hmm. Next one, and we talked to Coach Rockwell a little bit about this. He feels pretty good about this. Defending 4A state champions, Malvern, headed to Lakeside. Who does the Mouth have?
Give me Malvern.
Going with Malvern. Grandma Na is going with Lakeside. Coach Williams is going to pick against Lakeside for the third straight time, and hopefully I'm right this week. I'm going to go with Malvern also. Next game, Charleston at Ozark. Ozark got beat last week by Booneville. Charleston's defending 3A state champions. Who does the Mouth have?
Give me Ozark.
Going with Coach Burns and Ozark. Grandma Na's going with Ozark, and Coach Williams is going with Ozark. This is a very interesting game here. Watched Whitehall last week. Man, they got a great running back. I mean, they got some skilled guys. They coming off a tough defeat against Warren. Warren came back, scored late, won the game. Maumelle, Coach Moffitt's got it going on there, and they've got some great athletes. Maumelle at Whitehall. Who does the Mouth have?
Going Whitehall. Coach.
Going Whitehall. Grandma Na's going with Whitehall. Coach Williams is going with Whitehall also. All right, big game here. The Fordyce Red Bugs headed to the Prescott Curly Wolves. Mm-hmm. Who does the Mouth have?
Fordyce.
He's going with Fordyce. Grandma Na's going with Fordyce. Coach Williams is going with the Curly Wolves. I think the Curly Wolves traditionally have man, they just do a great job down there. Rivercrest at Valley View over in Northeast Arkansas. Rivercrest got beat last week by Mills. Valley View, excuse me, is 1-1. Lost to Harding Academy week 0. Big game here. Rivercrest is loaded with talent. Rivercrest at Valley View. Who's the mouth have?
Valley View for the win.
Valley View for the win. Grandma Nas taking Valley View. Coach Williams is taking the Rivercrest Colts, baby, all the way. All right, biggest game of the week, obviously, and this is a game we've been waiting on all year.
Mm-hmm.
Little Rock Parkview at Bryant. Bryant has beat the number 1 team in the state in Missouri last week. Pretty much dominated. Parkview's dominated Harbor week 0. They have been getting ready for this game. You know, if you take both teams, both 11 on both sides of the ball, man, there's a lot of talent on the field on offense and defense. Who is the mouth taking?
Coach, he's going with Parkview.
Going with the upset in Parkview. Grandma Nas going with this. And Coach Williams is going to go with Bryant just on the fact that somebody's got to beat those guys sometime, and nobody's done it. So I'm going to stay with the safe pick. I still think Parkview, this should be, if you go to that game, you're going to get your $5 worth.
Yes.
So there's our picks of the week. I tell you what, man, this has been a lot of fun. Look for a Razorback game this coming Saturday. Man, you know, just a lot of good football going on. Just a lot of good football, and in that part of it, well, let's get off here. We've ran through this show. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bray, tell us everybody where they can find us.
Coach, we are on YouTube, Coaches of the Mouth. We are on X at Coaches Pod, TikTok, Instagram, all the good stuff. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Those are huge for us. We're looking for those subscriptions.
Especially on X. We're about right there. We can start doing.
We're almost 11 people away.
11. If we can't get 11 followers, we're in trouble. Come on, we need a little help here. So, well, hey, tune in next week. Hey, a lot more exciting football. You know, BYU after the Hogs game. We'll recap that next week, and the Kent State game, and looking forward. You know, Hogs starting to get in some competition.
Yep.
You know, 6A this week's getting into the conference play and that part of it. So, well, tune in next time for Jeff Williams and Bray Cook for the Coaches in the Mouth. See you next time.